Hey, Chris, do you like us so far?
I do. I really like you. Thank you for calling me good looking, implying that I was good looking. That's very nice of you.
Brunch! Hit it, boys!
Mayor season.
Mayor season.
It's Mayor season. New John Mayer song, and it is fucking unbelievable.
It is so good.
200% the best song I've heard in a while.
Okay, that's very lofty
Actually,
praise.
that's not true. Like
There's got to be
Janelle
something.
Monáe, Casey Musgraves, Childish Gambino of all. What do you think of America? This is America, real quick.
Really
You
good.
heard that? Yeah.
Yes, really
It's
good.
really, yeah.
The
yeah,
video is
love it.
amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I would put Mayer above at least like Musgraves and Janelle Monáe. I listened to like a half of that album.
Yeah.
It's very good, but
What?
this is better.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like too far into my relationship with the Janelle Monáe album to say that something's better than it at this point. But I will say this is. I just knew that he had a new song coming out. I didn't know the direction it would take because his last project, obviously, it kind of went all over the place, which I really liked.
Yeah.
And I loved "Still Feel Like Your Man," and I was hoping that this would have some of that like funk disco vibe that seems to be all the rage these days.
Yeah.
And it is. It's the fucking best. It sounds like Haim. It sounds like Tango in the Night, Fleetwood Mac, which sounds like Haim. And but the guitar on it is so fucking good. It's like chic, just really fucking awesome. I have nothing but good things to say about this.
Yeah,
song.
I really, really love it, and I'm surprised that I like it as much as I do because I felt like there was a good chance that I wasn't going to like it. One, because it's a single, very close to the release of his last album. Like, when did his album come out? Like 3 months ago, 4 months ago, something like that.
Yeah,
It's
like
probably
a year ago.
Okay, wow,
Yeah.
damn, that's way longer than I expected.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty close. Like
'Cause we went
we're
to
used
see
to like
him-
2 years between music from him.
Yeah, we went to see him in the good old days of brunch, and
Yeah,
that
when it
was
was good.
and that was like I don't know, like a month or two after the album came out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's been a while, longer than I thought, but it's good and like, but he hasn't. I think maybe I was concerned because he hasn't announced like a new album. This is just like a detached single. So, but the artwork cover for it is very good, and just like the promo photo that he took for it is unbelievable.
Yes.
It's like a very 90s.
Oh my god, that picture!
It's so good.
So what is with it? Like between, it's not just Mayor season. It's not just Misty season. It's just unbelievable
It's nostalgia
pictures
season.
of the artist season.
Yeah.
I mean, Haim did a shoot. We could talk about that all day. The shoot that Haim did recently.
The
oh my
Real
god,
Housewives of the
That
Valley.
is sex all over the place.
It's like a borderline nude
That
of
is-
them, which is I never expected to
I
see
don't
that.
like. I don't like to call people sexy. It's just a weird fucking word, and I get called it so much that I'm just kind of over it. But like that's like a sexy ass shoot.
Yeah.
But yeah, between the mayor photo, the picture of the Father John Misty album cover, I guess, like the fucking why God why kind of look
Yes.
he has on his face. We should get portraits done like that.
Hell yeah! I actually I tried to slide into John Mayer's DMs on Instagram.
Yeah.
This week because I wanted to ask if he could send me a high-res file of that photo so that I could turn it into a poster and put it on my wall. Like that's how serious I am.
To which
so I hope
you
that he sells it.
responded, forwarding this to my merch people who are just going to make
Capitalize
that
on it.
into a
Which,
poster and sell
again,
it.
I'm fine with that. I'll
Yeah.
buy it.
Yeah.
But like I want a high res available at some point, and
That actually would be great for art. That would be
Yes.
just like a fucking great piece of art. I want to get.
put that in a museum.
There was, I think I've probably said this before. There was and I need to stop saying that because we've all said things before.
Yeah, I know.
And of
This
course we repeat ourselves. by
Podcast
now.
is just us rambling for like 3 years at this point. Everything
How
that we've
much shit
said,
do we actually
everything that
have on
we
our
say,
minds?
we've talked about this John Mayer song already, and it's come out 3 minutes
Yeah,
ago.
This is everything's just fucking repeat rerun. But there was in a coffee shop near the garden where I used to go. There was this black and white painting, and it was just of this woman. Like I think she was smoking a cigarette or blowing cigarette smoke or something. But it was black and white. She was a woman, so kudos to me. Like I'm not putting up a picture of a man and that sounds homophobic.
But I'm problematic.
Right? No, but it'd be problematic if my art was of a man. But this was art of a woman, and she was doing something with a cigarette. I don't know. And the only color in it was her red lips, which doesn't sound that exciting, but it was so fucking cool. And I remember thinking, I would like to buy that. I know I can't buy it. I can't afford it. Even if it's like $1, I just don't have $1. But man, and I've Googled every now and then. I Google like art, woman, black and white, cigarette, and there's a lot of art like that, but it's just not like that one.
Yeah. I see. I'm trying to get into art. I'm becoming an adult.
Yeah.
I have an apartment that is very bare bones now.
You've got a mustache.
I've got a mustache. I'm working on the adult stuff. I bought a plant this week.
Speaking of which, cool mustache. Does it come in actual mustache?
Fuck off.
Brunch. Hit it, boys.
You have a beard right now. You're growing out the beard. But if you shaved the rest of the beard, my mustache would be better than your mustache.
I'm doing
right
it for the mustache.
Okay.
I actually don't think that's true. I think that it's
pretty close.
You're right. At the very least, it would be close. I think that I would just have you because it's darker.
Yeah.
Like I
need to get this colored or something.
Yeah. You should. I mean, we talk about it. I said when we do mustaches, let's by all means be willing to
go in on the mustache.
To be on the juice.
All means necessary.
Yeah. Like let's get a little fucking eyeliner and fill it in here and there.
People do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm down with that.
Yeah,
Whatever helps. I'll take whatever PED's necessary.
Right.
For
let's be on the
for
juice.
Hims.
Yeah.
I bet Hims has hair growing supplements.
And I think that hair growing supplements are. I think that you know what that is.
A scam?
That's snake oil.
Oh no!
And
we
are
buy it at a gas station then.
On the snake oil. Yeah, we do not buy our snake oil from a gas station. Speaking of that was a nice little segue you set up. That was my big talking point, my question I had because I was on my way over here and went to get gas, got some gas on my hands. How much gas can you get on your hands? And follow-up question, it's essentially the same exact question. How much gas can you put in your mouth?
That is not the same question.
Well, that's your concern when you got gas on your hands. Like, fuck, at some point, this is going to get in my mouth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea, to be honest. I would say whatever you can do to limit the amount of gas that's going on your skin or in your mouth.
Yeah,
for sure in your mouth. You don't want that in your mouth.
Right, but that's why I ask, because inevitably at some point, if you're a guy's guy like me, you're going to get gas on the hands. It's just a fucking...
How did that happen, by the way?
It's an occupational hazard when you live my rock and roll kind of lifestyle. You're going to get a little gas on your hands.
How did that happen?
We're going to have a new song out very soon called Gas on Your Hands. It'll essentially be the same song as Brad Paisley, Mud on the Tires.
Gas on the hands.
So girl, if you come with me, we're going to get gas on the hands. This love is going to ignite.
Okay. How did that happen?
Tonight.
Explain it, please.
That's not bad. So I'm writing a song. Shut up. How did it happen?
Yes.
I was getting gas, and it wouldn't come out, and something was wrong with the pump. There was like a chunk sound, and
a backup.
Eventually, all of this gas starts flying out, and before I know it, I am covered in gasoline, and I got in the car and just drove straight home without realizing. Now my whole car and my clothes stink of gasoline. So I got home.
Wait, is this
took off
serious?
The clothes. Yeah.
You were covered in gasoline?
Yeah, took off the clothes and just threw them on my living room floor and got in the shower. And now my whole home smells like gas.
You really didn't approach this. I guess there's like no other really real way where you can approach this, where you just like you covered yourself in gas, and then you were upset that your car smelled like gas because you got in your car, and then you went in your house, and then you were upset that your house smelled like gas. Like, what did you think was going to happen?
Boy, Walter sure could have used you, huh?
What?
I pivoted while telling my story and made it the excuse that Walter gives what's Walter White's
Skyler?
wife's name? Skyler. When Jesse tries to burn the house down and gets gas all over the place, and he needs to have an excuse as to why the house smells like gas. So he says,
You
"I was at
used
the
the
gas
same-
station,
Oh,
and there was
God.
this chunk." And then, like, he used the word chunk, and then he says, "And then the next thing I know, I'm covered in gasoline." So I get in the car, and I go, not realizing now the whole car smells like gas, and blah, blah. And it's this like elaborate excuse as to why he smells like gas. I thought that once I said chunk, you would.
I'm
How many times
so
have you rewatched Breaking Bad?
I think I've only watched it once all the way
Whoa,
through. Yeah, so
okay.
I'm very
That's on me.
detached.
That's on me. Okay. What actually happened was I was just fucking getting gas and some got on my hand. That happens all the time.
It's way worse of a story.
Yeah, I know. Not nearly as exciting. There's no meth.
It happens all the
production.
time.
You don't get gas on your hands sometimes when
No,
you're getting gas?
it's pretty easy to avoid getting gas on yourself.
So sometimes you don't get gas on your hands.
I think it's been years since I've gotten gas on myself.
That's ridiculous. No, I didn't get gas. So I need to clarify. The story I just told was not actually what happened. I did not get gas on my fucking...
Clothes.
Yeah, I didn't. There was no chunk. I just got like a teeny little bit. Sometimes it's when you're screwing the cap back
Yeah,
on.
okay.
Sometimes,
I get that.
Sometimes you gotta like hold it a certain way. I just got like a little bit of gas on my hands, and so I went inside to wash my hands in the gas station because I was like, I'm not fucking going through my day with gas. It'll end up in my mouth. So I ended up actually kind of buying a lot of stuff when I was in there. I got coffee. I got a bottle of water. I bought some peanuts. I was like, fuck, gas stations should make it so people get gas on their hands more often and force people to go in and wash their hands because they're going to buy a lot of shit.
Sounds like you're fucking in love with gas stations. You should just move to Pennsylvania because that's all fucking people in Pennsylvania talk about is gas
Really?
stations. Wawa and Sheetz.
Oh, yeah. They
It's
do
so
talk about
fucking
Wawa
annoying.
all the time.
It's
Ugh.
like that whole debate about what's better. It's like, shut the fuck up and stop eating food at gas stations.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know what's better? People who don't eat gas station food, like us. People who aren't from Pennsylvania, you fucking freak. Speaking of Pennsylvania, bye, Sixers. Bye-bye.
Yes,
Get it?
I do get it.
Get it?
The Boston Celtics beat the
Beat
76ers.
'em. Fucking smoked them.
No
5
confetti.
games. Suck my dick. They're fucking way donezo.
The one game that I
loved
watched,
there was no confetti.
I watched game 5 last night, and it was good.
No confetti was the I don't think about you at all move.
Yes,
Love
yeah.
that. Like, why would
Don't
we
even need to troll
Why would
you.
we
Why
mock
would we
you?
troll you?
You
This
have
is
nothing
too
to do
easy.
with this anymore. You're done. You're out of here.
Speaking of basketball, we have our friend Chris Gethard on the show today.
Yes. On the fucking program, he has a show on True TV that's fucking great, especially recently. Has been fucking wild. True TV in general has really fucking brought the heat. If
Well,
we end up
it's
getting
a comedy network now.
yeah,
I like their
it's-
tagline. It's funny because it's true.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's
it's pretty
pretty
good-
good.
pretty good
Well,
tagline.
that's I'm sorry he's doing another season. Fucking, it's great. And he was also in Don't Think Twice, which
Yep.
was like one of my pillar. This gave DJ one of his like, oh, I'm connecting with this thing, and now like this is like it.
This
it
is a
struck
part
me,
of my life now.
Yeah, it struck me. It hit my depression bone, but in a good way. And as we kind of got into our Chris Gethard obsession. I didn't realize that his one-man show was basically if you liked I tweeted this, if you liked Bible webisodes, that is like a 6 million times better version of that. It's just a one-man show with him talking about his experience with being suicidal, being depressed, getting on meds and trying different ones and which ones worked and which ones didn't.
And
If you've
other
ever-
hilarious stuff.
Yeah. And if you've ever tried, if you've ever like gotten on medication, whether it's like SSRIs or whatever, you might have some stories like him. I do. I don't fucking share those stories, and the fact that he did is both hilarious and like, wow, good for him.
Yeah,
So,
it's
he
an
rules.
HBO special called Career Suicide.
Yes.
And it is very, very good. And I said this during the interview, but like it really perfects the like emotional roller coaster because there are points where you're like, fuck, I'm gonna cry watching him tell this story right now, and then seconds later you're laughing, because he turns it into like a hilarious thing, that is the most impressive accomplishment in the world, to get somebody on the verge of crying and then on the verge of tears, laughter seconds later. Wild stuff.
Working at a television place has also made me I feel like I'm like an intern at a recording studio, kind of, where I can like I've seen enough stuff going on. I don't necessarily know what any of it is, but I can kind of pretend that I know now.
Yeah, you have like reference points.
Yeah, so like I could be like, for example, the show AP Bio that we watch is quite polarizing for its presentation because of its color grading. And when people were like, because people hate that. Yeah. People like hate the color grading on that show.
Well, I saw Adam Hart, our friend Adam Hart.
He loves it.
I love it too.
Yeah, so do I.
And I basically I provided an explanation why I think that it's color graded the way that it is. And I don't know
if it seem cold?
Yeah, well, yeah, because the main character is very cold.
Yeah,
but also that it takes place in a school, and like in schools, the what's called the fluorescent lighting is very, very harsh.
Yes. Oh yeah. So, but like when I saw there was like a news story, or maybe I saw it on Reddit, and it was like, we have to talk about how
bad it is.
Right, like how bad the color grading on AP Bio is. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, I know, just when I see that this says color grading, I know what that is. So, the reason I mentioned that is like, now when I watch shit, it's kind of like when I listen to music, and because I'm familiar enough with music that I'm like, oh, this is why this song works. This is why this song does and stuff. When I watch the fucking one-man special that he has, or the one-man show that he has, I'm like, fuck, man, this is shot unbelievable. Like that, it's zoomed. It gets really close at the points where he's like most vulnerable and where like he's about to cry, and it's just incredibly fucking done. You have to watch it.
Yeah, I did watch it, and I really, really enjoyed it. Also, the Chris Gethard show on True TV is a chaotic mess, but like in the best way possible. That's what he wants it to be.
Yeah, I think that he's such I think that he's such a good host because he in improv, they call it editing, where someone runs across the stage to essentially end the scene.
Yeah.
And it's on the people in the scene for one of them to kind of step up and say, okay, this is over now. And it can be a little controversial. It can be a little upsetting. Like if you end the scene before someone was going to make another joke, or someone thinks like, oh man, I'm killing it. Like say if I were if I were killing it in a scene and you end it because you think like this is this way we make the scene 100% awesome, I might be like, why the fuck did you end that when I was killing it?
Yeah.
You know, so there's that kind of thing, and it's only some people, like, you have to have like a good mind for it, and I think that when he's hosting is fucking awesome because like the most recent episode, we'll talk about it with him. Two of the people are high. Two of the four people are high, and you have to guess who's high. So they're going through these different things and these different exercises, and there were so many points at which the joke could have kept going, and he just has the fucking balls to end it when it's really funny. So I don't know. I've always noticed that with his shit. So he's great. Let's just jump into it. Joining us now is Chris Gethard. Chris, right off the top, I just want to say I think that you're a very handsome man. Love your look. You've got an inner tricep tattoo, which is something that I've always wanted to have. You got the text peeking out, and you always have cool glasses. And just these days, with how expensive glasses can be, it's like glasses shouldn't cost as much as a freaking iPhone. And I know that you're familiar with Warby Parker probably, but their prescription glasses, they start at $95, and that includes prescription lenses.
Warby Parker makes buying glasses online easy and risk-free.
What?
Yeah, that's right. Their Try Home program allows you 5 pairs of glasses shipped directly to your door, where you can try them on in the comfort of your own home. Try the frames. See which ones you like before sending them back in a prepaid return label. No obligation to purchase. I used them, and DJ told me which ones he thought I looked handsome in.
Yeah, summer's coming up, and Warby Parker sunglasses start at just $95, Chris. So head over to warbyparker.com/brunch and join Pete and the thousands of others who have made themselves easy on the eyes with Warby Parker. That's warbyparker.com/brunch. Hey, Chris, do you like us so far?
I do. I really like you. Thank you for calling me good looking, implying that I was good looking. That's very nice of you.
Yeah, in all seriousness, you actually are kind of like a tattoo reference for me, because I've always wanted an inner tricep tattoo with a little text peeking out of like a t-shirt sleeve, and that's exactly what you have. But my concern when getting it is that I don't have like big muscular go to the gym arms, I just have kind of a normal person arm like you do. So you're a very good guide for that. So thank you.
Very happy to be here and be part of your journey through life.
Yes.
That's a Smith's tattoo, isn't it?
It is. It is. It's a lyric from the Smiths.
You're a huge Smiths guy. One of my questions actually was how you reacted to their placement in 500 Days of Summer, because the Smiths seem like a band where their fans would be territorial, but I actually bet they aren't.
I think Smiths fans are pretty territorial, but the sense I got was that one didn't offend too many Smiths fans. Like, I think, a coming-of-age throwback movie that's just about two people falling in love, and the Smiths is the trigger for it. I had no problem with that. Quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I'm a big Pixies guy, and I just freaked out when he was singing "Here Comes Your Man" in it. But how are you? Your show rules, and you have a book coming out.
Thanks. Yeah, I tell you, I'm doing pretty good. Feeling pretty good about life right now.
This week on your show on True TV, you did a thing called Pot Brownie Roulette, where you and three others, Nicole Byers, Sashir Zameda, and Shannon O'Neill, each ate a brownie, two of which were pot brownies, and you had to guess who was high. You were one of the high people. As the host, were you at all, like, once you realized you were high, were you like, oh, fuck, or was it okay because Shannon was so clearly so much more high than anyone's ever been that there was no pressure?
No, I was not thrilled. I was not thrilled. We were actually, I don't imbibe very often, once every few years maybe, but it was just such a funny idea that I was like, I think we got to go for this one. And we actually took a helicopter to Massachusetts because it's legal there. We wanted to do everything legally. And, we ate the brownies, and I was told, like, oh, it'll probably take like between 60 and 90 minutes to kick in. So we ate them, and we got back on the helicopter home, and I would say 25 minutes later, I was like, oh, no.
I'm one of them.
I was going to ask.
This is going to be a long night of television. This is bad. I really just had that in my head all the time. I can also tell you honestly that I do not remember the large bulk of what happened during the taping.
Really?
Sometime around the Minotaur, my brain just shut down.
It was fucking awesome. I mean, there was an ice cream social taking place. An iguana was in the mix. Minotaur came through. Shannon just had no sense or regard or care for anything that was going on. Like, when it was her turn to speak, she was like, I don't care whose turn it is, I'm going.
That's what I was going to ask, because I was going to ask when it hit you, because like in the first 10 seconds I was like, oh yeah, this guy's high. And then when the ice cream social happened and there was ice cream in your face, your entire body and presence just completely shut down. And I was like, yep, this guy is for sure one of them. At what point were you like, oh crap?
I can say on the I don't know if it was like the increased altitude of the helicopter just made everything kick in hard and fast, but I went from being a totally reasonable, regular human being to all of a sudden just feeling like whoosh come over my body. So, I mean, I knew, while we were still in the air heading back into New York that I was really in trouble, and I definitely had a few moments backstage where I was like, I can't go out there on live television right now. And then I remembered that the show has my name on it, and I'm the only one who really has to.
My favorite part of it actually was when you're eating the ice cream and you said, Shannon and Minotaur, can you just chill out and let us eat this ice cream? Because they were fighting, and the Minotaur was just so great, and she was so high, and you were like, I just need everything else to stop right now. You said that you don't smoke a lot of pot. Was that your first time doing edibles? Because I'm fucking terrified of doing edibles.
No, I did edibles a couple of years ago at my friend's wedding in Colorado. I've dabbled over the years. I find the whole idea of smoking anything and having smoke grosses me out more than eating a cookie. But I do also understand that it's a much more sort of like punches you in the face type of experience.
Yeah, I don't.
So yeah, I've eaten edibles from time to time.
So you don't do a lot of drugs, but how often are you offered them? Because we find that being offered drugs is actually cooler than doing them.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I don't get offered drugs all that often. I think everybody knows. I think a lot of my fans know that I don't drink, so a lot of people just are very respectful and keep some distance with that. But I would agree with you to even get included in that is such an honor to have people think I'm cool enough to do drugs when in fact I'm just completely nervous all the time and terrified of it.
Well, you must hide it well because nobody wants to fucking do drugs with somebody that they think is unhinged. Nobody's going up to like a crazy person on the street being like, "Yeah, let's hang out with that guy."
Unless they want that to be part
him.
of the drug, like that's their drug is life. Like, I'm gonna fucking roll the dice with this shit right now.
Yeah. I like how you guys think.
Yeah, dude, your one-man show is fucking unbelievable. We're gonna push that so fucking hard on people because like the one episode of our show that people actually liked was one where we like for once kind of got serious and talked about mental illness and shit like that. And I find it fucking so hard to ever like kind of knock down that wall and articulate it. How, just from a standpoint of being able to like access that stuff, how difficult was that to write? Not in like oh, this is hard to talk about, but just like, I don't know,
execute it in a way, because the thing that I found like fascinating was that you would go from like looking like you were about to cry, like and like making me about to cry, and then laughing 2 seconds later.
Yeah, I mean, that was the tough part was actually, it was hard to get over the hump and start talking about all the mental health stuff publicly just because it is very stigmatized and everything. But once I dove into it and committed to doing it, I think the hardest part was actually, I am a comedian. I got to get laughs. I got to try, I don't think, there are people with facts and figures and research and training who would be much more well-equipped to give something akin to a TED Talk. What I have the ability to do is maybe make some jokes about this stuff in a way that can help. So I will tell you, that made it hard because bombing is always hard. As a comedian, you bomb. There's no way around it. You're going to have some nights where you miss. But bombing when you're opening up about the saddest, darkest things about your real life is like a particular brand of loneliness that I never knew before that project. It's just like when you go out and you have the conversation, that's hard. People respect it. But when the jokes bomb on top of that, man, those were tough nights.
So how nerve-wracking was it to do that special, knowing kind of that was on the line?
It was really nerve-wracking. It was overwhelming. And I think, one of the things that was so overwhelming that actually helped get me through it was people would pretty quickly, when I started talking about that stuff on stage, people would wait for me after the shows and just say, I deal with the same thing, and you're saying stuff that sounds really true to me, and that made me keep going. And then getting people would come up and say, like, I have a brother who's bipolar, and I've never really understood him, and I think I get him a little more now. It's like, wow, that's a lot. That's a lot more gratifying than like the usual dick jokes that I make on stage, like the usual self-deprecating stories that I tell. So it was really hard, but also extremely gratifying. And also, even, so many different people in so many different corners of the public world have now started going, like seeing DeMar DeRozan and seeing Kevin Love open up about this stuff too, just in the sports world. It's like, oh, this is becoming a thing that's just becoming progressively more okay to talk about. And I'm really proud to have been part of that movement.
Has that made you, and you're right, I mean, it's just, there's like a lack of how many things are said about it, because not every time someone talks about mental health or their experience with depression or anxiety or suicidal thoughts, whatever, not every time not every word is necessarily going to click with somebody, but it's that in the 90-minute special, like the 3 or 4 sentences that you like rewind and you're like, yes, fuck yes, like that's exactly, I know exactly what that person's talking about. Has doing that like made you more of like an open book? Because I mean, I know people who, definitely myself included, sometimes you can talk about it and then sometimes you're just 1,000% like, that's off limits, that's shut down.
Yeah, it's, I tell you, it's a very interesting thing. And in some ways, I feel like the special itself was the ultimate example of me being an open book. I would say, once the special came out, I almost had to shut it down a little bit because the floodgates opened so hard. If you could take a look at my Facebook inbox right now, you'd go, holy shit, dude. Like, it's just thousands of messages from people who are telling me their stories of depression, of suicide attempts, of losing people. So it actually led to sort of like a tidal wave of very, very intense communication. And I'm, extremely flattered that people are willing to open up or feel like I'm someone they can open up to. But it's also almost impossible for me to just emotionally take all of that on. So because of that, I almost think I actually had to close the door a little bit and become a little less of an open book after the special came out, because it was so overwhelming to take it all on.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be. I mean, it's. I would imagine, in a sense, you become almost like the priest in the confessional now. Like, it's in kind of the only confessional that exists. That's a priest sitting in there, right?
I would think so. Yeah, something like that.
I don't think
when it's not, something really scary is happening.
Yeah.
Yes. Really going down.
You've got a book coming out in October, right?
Yeah,
it's
October 16th.
Lose Well. What do we need to know about the book? How much of it is funny? How much of it is, the stuff that you've dealt with in terms of personally? What do we need to know?
Well, I think it's a really funny book. A lot of stories in there. It's basically a lot of times, I don't know if it's just because I'm kind of like a dude from North Jersey, or if it's because I am someone who's depressed all the time. But I get a lot of people who approach me and are like, yeah, you really have all those limitations, but you kind of went for it anyway, and I want to go for it too. You got any tips? So this book is basically a book that my goal is that if you're someone out there who, nobody believes in, or you don't even believe in yourself, but you've kind of got this dream and you've got goals and you haven't gone for them, I want this to be the book where you read it, where you're like, screw it, I'm just going to go for it. That's really what I'm looking for, is sort of like a kick in the pants for people to go out there and just try to actually maybe chase their inner demons or chase their dreams a little bit. And so much of it is just about, you're going to feel like a loser along the way. You got to fail. Failure is an important thing. You got to embrace it. Failure can actually be a very positive thing in your life if you let it. And I really just want to kind of try to get that message out there.
There are, until I saw Career Suicide, there were two projects in like the past 5 years, I don't know, that kind of gave me that, like, oh, I totally connect with this thing. One of them is the show You're the Worst, where they just very casually work in that, like, one of the characters is depressed and they're not over the top with it. And the other one was Don't Think Twice. Like, after I saw Don't Think Twice, I was like, I need to see that 5 more times, but I don't know if I can actually sit through it 5 more times, because it's just, I don't have that exact, like, improv experience or whatever, but everyone has fucking been through that, whether it's, I mean, we're both in the media, and there's kind of that sensation of someone starts to get really successful, and just because of the way everything's structured, you're just made to feel like, fuck, this means that I'm not good enough. How was it fucking being in that, especially as a comedian who's undoubtedly experienced that a million times?
Yeah, I mean, I was on an improv team with Bobby Moynihan when he got the SNL job. He was one of my best friends, so I think more than anyone else in the cast, I had actually lived through the experience of that movie in a very real way. It definitely felt less like acting to me and more just like reenacting 2007, when I just saw all my friends getting hired for these big jobs. But we've all been there, right? Everybody has that feeling where you like look out the window and you're like, oh, my neighbor's driving a nicer car than I am. How come they got a pool in their backyard and I don't? And you start to really question, how come everybody else seems to get what they want and I never do? And I think my new book will hopefully go a long way towards making people kind of laugh about those feelings and maybe feel some motivation to show some sense of agency and overcome them.
Yeah, I definitely still do that a lot. I just think, like, I don't know, it's like a very George Harrison-esque thought, but I think that at the end of the day, if I could fucking have anything, it would just be peace of mind. So when I see that other people, if they have a better car or whatever, if, like, by luck they happen to be better looking than me, anything like that, I'm like, I don't necessarily even know how they feel. Like, they could be in the fucking worst shape in the world. So,
and also just, like, opportunities like that don't always go to the better person or like the better performer.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just a mistake by the people in charge.
Right.
Like,
Pete and I are both relatively successful in our fields, and we're not good at anything.
I feel the same as those guys. I also feel like a lot of times you chase these things where you're like, I can just get that opportunity, then I'll be golden, and then you get it, and you're like, oh, this brings with it its own levels of stress and pressure that I never dreamed of. So I always thought this is the mountaintop. It's pretty isolating and cold and lonely at the mountaintop sometimes too. So I think a lot of these things we're talking about, at the end of the day, it's like you got to fix whatever is internal, and you got to come to grips with who you are, and not convince yourself these sort of ego-driven external accomplishments are going to solve problems anyway, because it really stings when they don't.
Did you do the thing when Bobby Moynihan hit it big of like the he's
Fuck
really
Bobby
not that funny. like I'm obviously happy for him, love him, but he's not that funny, and now he's starting to act like an asshole, and I don't know how his head got so big. Did you when in reality God knows how he was actually acting?
No, that's one of the. It's funny because comedy fans who kind of know the theater that I came out of and know that Bobby and I worked together, they'll say like, "Oh wait, that movie's about you," and I'm like, "No, I mean there's pieces of me in there," but one of the major differences is that Bobby and I actually got closer as friends and had each other's back so hard. And there were times where SNL was stressing him out, and I was the guy he'd call. And there were times where I felt like I was banging my head against the wall. And I remember having a conversation with him that really saved me, with him going, "Dude, like, I had just been on a sitcom that struck out," and he was like, "I could have gotten that, and you could have gotten SNL. We were both good enough after a certain point, and I just got luckier." And I was like, "You're the man, Bobby. You're the man." So, and don't think twice. That was a relationship spiral to the point where people are punching each other in the face. I've never thrown a punch at Bobby or had him throw a punch at me, and I hope I never do.
You speaking of improv, I mean, a lot of people who do improv are naturally good on podcasts and TV and shows and shit like that, but my takeaway whenever I watch you host anything is that you're such a good host, and I think it's because of improv, because and this is me paying you a compliment, I suppose, your editing skills are fucking impeccable. Like, you never let a joke get too old, and you know how to kind of move on when it's at a high note. With us, we like to do it like a couple extra minutes, and then enough time has passed from where the joke was good that it then gets to the point where we can reflect on how good the joke used to be a few minutes ago.
Right. And now you're caught in that situation where they're hearing your only option is to air out your own internal monologue about how you have let this one go on too long, and pray that saves it. I've been there so many times. I think.
Go on. Sorry.
I think a lot of it just comes from being on, both as an improviser and as a stand-up, and just being on stage in front of crowds who are like, "I paid money for this, and you better get it right." You can just feel that pressure, just thousands of times of that.
I would say that in your case now, hopefully, I mean, it's to the point where if you're in town, we're buying tickets to go because we like you. So even if you're not that good, we're going to fucking lie to our friends and say that you were unbelievable. So that must be a nice little feather in the cap.
I would love it. I mean, I would love if I had a large legion of fans who were just willing to lie to their friends in order to make me money. That would be an amazing thing. But
then you would get, I'm realizing then you'd get like the Father John Misty kind of vibe of like, do you even like me? Do you even care about me? I'm going to fucking make shit now and see how you react.
And also,
although he can't make shit. He's so fucking good.
And also just the fact that, like, as a performer, you must know, like, when you have an off night, and how much does that sit with you, especially now with the TV show and it being live, and like how often do you like walk away and you're like, oh fuck, that wasn't that good, and how much does that bother you for how long?
I would say that still happens probably like a solid third of the time. Like 1 out of 3 times that I perform in public, I walk away like, oh God, why did I do that? I mean, I think that's one of the beautiful things about stand-up more than any other type of comedy is it just happens so often that you have to learn. I kind of feel like, developing a thick skin is probably an even more important skill than being funny in your early days as a stand-up, because just learning how to own that feeling and walk away from it and not go completely insane is a huge skill. So it's tough, especially with the TV show. If I have a week where I'm like, oh, I missed the mark, that one wasn't our best, that's tough because you only get so many chances at that. But luckily, I mean, I've been doing comedy in New York for 18 years now, and I still bomb every week. A week doesn't go by where I don't bomb on stage. So, New York knows how to keep you humble that way, and that does help me sort of look forward and try to move forward and not get too caught up in things.
What's your absolute worst bombing story?
Oof, I mean, there's been so many. there was one time in Philadelphia where a guy took a copy of my book, lit it on fire, and threw it at me while I was on stage. But Philly, they go hard. When they don't like you in Philly, they really let you know.
Jesus.
But that guy brought a copy of the book to the show in hopes that you were going to bomb, and then he lit it on fire?
My hope is that he brought it because he really liked me and wanted me to sign it for him. But then the show went so awry that the only option in his mind was to burn me in effigy and then fling it across a room at me.
So is that guy seemingly a smoker? Like, because he also had matches or a lighter or some way of lighting something on fire. Unless he was like, this is going to go one of two ways. Both involve the book. We're either using the pen or we're using these matches.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a great question. All I know is you got to bring it hard when you go to Philadelphia. That's really all I know.
Yeah,
can't mess around down there. Bring your A game.
Philly fans are fucking creative, man. Are you still a big basketball fan?
I am.
Well, how about them Boston Celtics? What do you think? They're in the big big games.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really incredible that with all those injuries that they have managed to pull it off. I find it baffling, and then it's even more baffling that Stevens didn't get one Coach of the Year vote.
I was just about to say, like, talk about some fucking don't think twice, like, sassy jealousy going on. They didn't fucking give him one vote. That is the most pissy. Like, everyone talks about how petty the players are. There is nothing more petty than fucking that. Not giving clearly one of, like, I don't know, at worst, the top, like, 2-3 coaches in the league, one vote. What a bunch of babies.
Big time, yeah. And I don't know why they want to give him and that team bulletin board material right now. It doesn't seem like they need it.
But he handles it in the most fucking mature way that anybody could ever handle it. He's like, well, I'm just glad that I'm one of 30. And it's like, no!
Yeah.
Get pissed!
Yeah.
Yeah, but don't you think behind closed doors he's like sitting down all those guys and he's like, no one respects us. Let's go teach them. Like, don't you feel like behind closed doors he's not as gracious?
I feel like Brad Stevens behind closed doors can be like a real psycho.
Okay,
He has that quiet rage about him.
The worst thing that has ever happened to me. So I'm a huge Jason Tatum fan. And one game, you know how sometimes you can hear what the players are saying on the court? Not in like a mic'd up way, but you can just hear them yelling, and sometimes like the occasional F word will squeak through, and you're like, haha, I just heard the guy swear on TV. The Celtics were on defense, and you could hear clear as day Brad Stevens yell, Jason, compete! And I was like, oh no! He's fucking yelling at my beautiful, beautiful boy. It was the worst fucking feel in the world. But the funniest thing was the other day, I was at game 3, they showed, late in the game, the Celtics called a timeout, and they showed Brad Stevens writing on the board, and like scheming, and you're like, oh fuck, Sixers are fucked. And a couple minutes later, the Sixers called a timeout, and they just did that like naturally. They just did that like same shot of Brett Brown. And the bar was at like, we all just fucking loudest laughs in the world. Like, imagine acting like that's fucking intimidating. What's Brett Brown gonna do?
Yeah, it's a different story with Stevens, right? It's a different story.
What are you, a Knicks fan or what?
I am. I'm cursed to be a Knicks fan. It's really, it's not even funny anymore. It stopped being fun a while ago, and now it's not even funny.
Talk about comedy.
It's not good.
Yeah, like people used to make fun of the Jets, and like they just stopped making fun of the Jets a long time ago because it's like, how many times can you make the same joke? Like, oh man, well, they sure are dysfunctional, and you're like, well, yeah, they've seemingly been that way for a while.
Well, it stops becoming funny once like the fans lose hope and they're in on the joke.
Yeah,
and it's just sad.
It is. It's been really brutal for years, and I had to say too, I really loved Carmelo when he was here, and people used to talk bad on him, and I'd be like, no, I watch all the games, you don't know what you're talking about, this and that. And then I watched him with the Thunder, and I was like, oh my god,
yeah,
oh my god, I was just blind all those years.
I rooted for this guy.
Yeah,
I defended this guy.
His Hall of Fame induction ceremony is going to be such a fucking bleak affair because he's like, because it's NBA Hall of Fame, everyone fucking gets in, so he'll for sure be a Hall of Famer. And they'll be like, oh,
right,
man, you were
just
so
based
good,
on his
but
college
fuck.
year and
his
Olympic years. But holy shit, the rest of it has been depressing.
Yeah. What a fucking bummer. Well, I guess depression is a good place to wrap it up. Chris, you are fucking awesome. Like, honestly, love all your shit. We were super fucking pumped that you were willing to come on with us. Who are you rooting for in the conference finals and beyond?
Ooh, I mean, it's really tough. You don't want to root for LeBron because it's a front row choice, but I'm a New Yorker. I can't root Boston, so I got to root Cleveland on that. And then it's similarly tough because I don't want to root for Golden State because they're like the evil empire at this point. But James Harden to me is a supremely skilled and talented player who I do not want to watch just draw foul shots. So I guess I'm rooting Golden State. I guess I'm rooting Golden State and Cleveland, which is a boring choice.
Yeah, I think that people.
But if Boston slips through, I'll be pumped. I can't root for a Boston team as a New Yorker, but I would be pumped.
I just love that you've got the thing that a lot of like Canadians fans, to make a hockey reference, they're like, "Ooh, I hate the Bruins, but I love Patrice Bergeron." I like that everyone's like, "Oh, I can't root for Boston, but that Brad Stevens, what a nice boy."
I mean, for the Celtics, there's like it's easier to root for them in the conference finals because you just know they're going to get the shit kicked out of them in the
finals. And you're saying that you're rooting against LeBron. You don't need to say that you're rooting for Boston.
So you can root for the Celtics. Just say that you're rooting for them in the conference final, and they're going to get their ass kicked in the final. You'll be fine.
All right. All right, I'll do that.
And also, just the Warby Parker thing. Try it, man. Well, you know what's cool, Chris? That wasn't even a read that we had. We just made that up after. We haven't done a read for Warby Parker in like 10 months. And we were like, hey, what if we just opened it with like a long read? And it sounded like salesman.
Really landed the joke.
Yeah. We're going to edit some.
Yeah.
You laughed at enough points during this. Probably it's something that maybe you were saying because we didn't say anything that funny. We'll edit it in so you'd sound like you were laughing the whole time. Like, ooh, these guys. Uh-oh. Wait. Which one's the comedian here? Because these guys. How about that?
Well, I had a good time. I enjoyed myself, so thank you guys for that. Yeah. You must at the edit, but know that I did genuinely enjoy it.
On the topic of basketball, I just wanted to give a quick little update on my experience with the Advanced Analytics podcast. I've always said that when I haven't listened to Pardon My Take in forever, I still love them, and I just don't fucking listen to podcasts. But when Pardon My Take was like really fucking heating up and getting awesome, I remember saying like, we might need to choose to not listen to every episode because we like it so much that this might end up being a fucking Pardon My Take tribute podcast. Yeah. I'm totally cool with this becoming an Advanced Analytics tribute podcast because those guys are so fucking cool.
Yeah, they're awesome. I actually did listen to
Brad
an episode
Stevens.
this week. Yeah, the accent is fucking unbelievable.
And now Twitter's taking everybody tweets now about Brad Stevens.
Oh fuck yeah.
Toronto Rip does.
So I think we don't have an ad read this week. But except for the one that we did that we forced into.
That was not again, must stress. That was they did not pay for that.
No, but also the URL still works. So if you want to go to warbyparker.com/brunch and get your try-on kit, then go for it.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of when we don't have ad reads, we should just like promote another podcast.
Yeah. Not a bad. Yeah. We can. But do we still have the same rule where you can't swear?
No.
I don't think we've said that before because every time we've done it, we've just
Sworn.
scrapped that part. But you can't swear when you do ad
You can on
reads.
some of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Some don't care, but a lot of other ones are just like, don't swear during our ad read.
Yeah, we've lost a lot because a lot of them it'll say like, here are some talking points, but just make it your own. Make it and make it your own. It's like, hey, dick suckers, do you like glasses? Because oh man, did I say
suck
dick
my
suckers?
dick.
Yeah, right. Then get the fuck out of here, you bunch of crybabies.
Do you need contacts?
Crybabies
Well,
isn't a swear.
do you need contacts to see my dick?
Yeah.
Well, then simplecontacts.com is the product for you.
In all seriousness, I think that's the most either of us have actually ever talked about dicks, and I'm quite proud of that. Not like on or off the podcast. I in real life, I honestly never am like, hey, folks.
I love dick jokes. They're great.
Right. Like if fart jokes and like I know some people who are okay farting in front of people. I'm like, God, you fucking suck. And they'll fart and they'll be like, guess what I just did? And I'm like, told me about a time you farted, you fucking loser. Get out of here. So Advanced Analytics Podcast.
Yeah,
Do it.
listen to it.
Yeah.
There you go. Bad news for MoviePass. It came out this week.
We've been monitoring this one closely.
We've been monitoring the MoviePass situation and
From the beginning.
From the very
'Cause we
beginning.
were like,
this is way too good to be true.
If this is not circling the drain yet, it will be soon. And folks, we signed up in August, right?
Yeah, August of 2017, which
Yeah.
is later than I thought that
And
we
come
did.
to think of it, it took me a while to learn how to use it because remember I had
Yes.
location services off, so it just didn't know where I was.
Yeah, and then when we got it in the mail and we saw that it came with directions, we were both like, ugh, not
This
for me.
is we knew there was a fucking catch. It could be ruining our credit for all we know, and we're just like, oh no, it's two things. But yeah, we've loved MoviePass. I had a great experience with it. I think it's a shady operation.
Yeah.
Just gotta
I
assume.
don't understand how it works at all, but
It recently said that it has $15 million left. So all of the things,
and it's operating at a loss of like 20 million per month.
just
so
we thought that Brunch was operating at the worst loss ever. Where like when we started selling merch, and then somehow we were like, oh yeah, we're losing money, huh? We thought that like Brunch was the worst business operation. God love you, MoviePass. You are making us feel fucking terrific about ourselves. But it might for real be done. Very soon.
Soon, yeah. I mean, the CEO is promising that they're going to last through the year, but that does not seem plausible with how
CEO
they're
almost
operating.
promised that it was going to be profitable.
Yes, that's true. But yeah, it is operating at like a cost that it should be dead within a month, which is wild. But like not unforeseen. Like going back to December when they offered that year-long subscription thing, remember I
you
bought
did and
into
I
that.
didn't. Yeah.
I bought into that because
it sounded
it's
like a thing.
Yeah, and I was like, there's got to be a catch here, and it is absolutely like the fact that they're trying to lock in people and then tweak the what is it called? The
rules and restrictions.
Restrictions,
and
right?
Like that. Yeah.
And they have, but it's not enough to stop the bleeding. So the MoviePass thing could be coming to an end, but we did just find out that they have a rival competitor.
Yeah, we're here to keep you updated on all this shit. We talk about MoviePass a lot on this podcast, off this podcast. We check in, like, how's your MoviePass situation going?
Mm-hmm.
And so if there is any news, we'll probably have it. We do frequent searches, and the most recent one told us about that rival. It's called Cinemia.
Yeah. It's like
It's a terrible name.
No, it's very bad.
But MoviePass is a terrible operation.
That's true. I would rather have a bad name that stays in business and allows me to watch my movies. It's a little bit
More realistic.
yeah. Well, it's profitable.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you know it? Good business plan they've got going on there. It's what is it?
The most expensive package that you can get is $15 a month, and it's 3 movies a month. Or you can do one that's $5 a month, and you see one a month.
So there's more like tiers for your level of movie going.
Honestly, it's
interest.
more like ClassPass than anything else.
What's class? Oh, that's the workout classes. Yeah. But they do have an unlimited subscription, which is what MoviePass is.
Okay.
And that's at the price of 3.5 movies per month. So I don't know what it is in Europe because don't go to a lot of movies in Europe. But around here, I think like an average movie ticket is like $12, right? That seems fair.
Yeah. That's how I did it when calculating how much money I've saved.
Okay, so like $12, so 3.5. That's about $40 a month, which again would probably be worth it for me and you.
That's definitely worth it. Yeah,
but I think that I would do like the 3 movies per month one.
For
$15.
And then if you could change it from month to month, I would just say like end of the summer
during Oscar season,
right? End of the summer, change to unlimited, so you can get a couple of months of being used to going to the movies all the time, and then once Oscar season hits, you've hit your stride and you're very comfortable with it.
We haven't talked about this, but what's your level of interest in the new Jurassic World movie?
Whomst is in it? Is Dallas Bryce Howard in it again?
Yeah.
I think that she's fucking lovely.
Mwah.
I think that she's such a pretty person.
Yes, she is.
Way better than Ron Howard.
What?
That's her dad.
Him? Wait, what?
Yeah, that's her dad, man.
What?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it explains the red hair, but wow, that is good for him.
You know what they say about redheads?
They have
Probably
red hair.
related to Ron Howard.
Yes, that's what they say about all of them.
Yeah.
But no, like, what's your interest in it?
Hi, I'll see it. I've seen every Jurassic Park movie. I saw Jurassic Park 3 in theaters. I was like down to see that shit. I don't see them a million times. I should rewatch the original a few more times because I mean, just fucking.
It was on TV this weekend. I watched
Goldblum in that fucking leather jacket.
He did not.
What a hottie.
Jeff Goldblum is not Jeff Goldblum now. Like in the old ones. He's
he was like make fun of Jeff Goldblum guy.
He is now. He has gotten way hotter with age.
Yeah. Speaking of leather jackets, I was at the Celtics game last night. Portnoy was there, and he was courtside wearing a leather jacket, and I was like, man, never thought this before. Dave Portnoy looks pretty good right now.
Yeah, I mean he's done the whole Tom Brady thing.
It was problematic that he looked good.
Why?
I don't know. You just say you mentioned Barstool, you have to say that it's problematic.
Yeah, but like
we're safe.
But he's like rich guy hot, where like he can afford to be hot. If he was one of us,
yeah.
By the common man for the common man.
If he was one of us,
we've already seen what he looks like when he's a commoner. Not great. But no, like I am. I'm interested in Jurassic World. I'm definitely going to see it. Don't have high hopes. I didn't like the first one, and the second one doesn't look good to me.
You didn't like Jurassic World?
No.
What?
I didn't like it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
We
had the podcast, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think we did actually come to
maybe
think of it.
Maybe we didn't speak of it.
It was definitely not when we had any sort of schedule because I saw Jurassic World during a week-long trip to actually Austin, where we're headed. People, by the way, have asked. Some people want to meet up with us in Austin when we go to Austin City Limits and have asked which weekend we're attending. So guess you're just going to have to guess right.
That is a wild roll of the dice.
Yeah.
To go to Austin.
On the off chance that you might see
us.
two podcasters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good luck, folks.
By the way, shouts to Katie Nolan. I realized recently that her bio says, I too have a podcast.
Ooh. Well, shouts to Katie Nolan for being a millionaire.
That fucking sucks. What assholes people are.
Yeah.
That's a fucking dickish thing.
But it's that person's job to report on.
Yeah, but I don't know.
And there's certainly public interest in that.
The reason that athletes' salaries are public is so they can be compensated fairly, because in like the early 90s you would go to arbitration and you wouldn't fucking know how much the other guy on your team makes, and they would say, hey, here's $500, that's a fair contract, and you find out the motherfucker on the line below you is making $3 million, whatever. Like that information has to be public so it can be fair. A lot of people in this business, I promise neither of us are one of them, unless you're doing better than I thought.
I just moved out of my mom's basement a week ago.
You've been sitting on that $1 million salary for a few years.
But yeah, no, I didn't necessarily take issue with the fact that like that they made Katie Nolan's salary public, because I think that if you're a public figure, then there's going to be interest on how much you make, and that's always going to remain true. So I don't have an issue with that most of the time. I just like have a problem with the way that it was like framed, where it's like, guess how much money Katie Nolan
why
is
she? Yeah, like I mean, it literally was Katie Nolan makes this much money, and why?
Yeah,
and that's fucking dickish. I don't know. I
understand it, because
I understand
she's
why
not
you would
being
put
used
that
to
information out there, where like you're doing a thing on Katie Nolan. You could say ESPN hired her with a 7-figure deal, something like that. But instead, the story was Katie Nolan makes $1 million.
Yeah,
and that's not like a man-woman thing. That's not. I just think that that's fucked up, and you're just positioning someone to be fucking judged in a weird fucking way. Like I sent Katie a message. I was like, yo, I think like this isn't gonna make you feel any better, but like all I see is fucking people talking about how much money you make, and that makes me so fucking uncomfortable. That sucks.
Yeah, no, it really does suck for her, because there's no way you win.
Yeah,
like in that situation, I guess. I mean, it would be great if everybody knew that I was a millionaire, but like when it's like, hey, this person's a millionaire, and then everybody's reaction to it is like, fucking why?
Yeah,
then that's shitty.
Yeah, it's just
I didn't
like the way that people went about it. Shouts to my friend Mike, though, who called out the writer of that piece and said, interesting that you said she makes $1 million a year, asked why, and didn't even make mention of her episode of Brunch, because I think that would answer a lot of questions, because that shit was fire. So on the subject of MoviePass, we wanted to look back on everything that we've seen so far, because I'm going to fucking run this shit into the ground. The issue is, as we said, only bad movies are out right now. It's kind of a dull time in movie time, but maybe What's It Called comes out soon, right? When does Book Club come out?
It's got to be soon, right?
I don't know, but shouts to Jeff Lowe, who every time he sees anything about Mamma Mia tweets and tags me in it. What a friend. I'm not tired of that. I want more of that. So I calculated it. I've seen, not counting repeats or movies that
Book
I've
Club
seen.
comes out a week from tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I thought that was like July or something.
No.
Yes.
May 18th.
Let's fucking go.
Also, Deadpool 2 comes out next week.
Yes. Who cares?
I'm definitely going to see Deadpool 2.
I'm going to see it, but like, I can't. Problematic.
Why? Oh, T.J.
Miller.
Yeah, but Rob Delaney's in it, and Rob Delaney's fucking awesome.
I don't get Rob Delaney.
Why?
Because
he's very funny.
He just has a lot of followers on Twitter. That was his thing.
It's pretty much. I mean, he has a book his book is really good. He's just like a funny person who. He also has a show on Amazon.
Is
that's
it
pretty
like
funny.
How to Have a Lot of Twitter Followers? Forward by Darren Rovell.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly it. But I also want to see Infinity War. I'm just like I can't see Infinity War.
What is the Avengers?
The Avengers one, but
Star
I need
Trek.
to watch other fucking movies to see that goddamn movie.
Oh, really? There's fucking prereqs?
Yeah.
Get out of
yeah,
here.
it's very annoying.
Yeah, so that's stupid. That stinks. But not counting repeats or movies that we've seen in that time, because the thing with MoviePass is you can't get your ticket days in advance.
Yeah.
So if there's an
event
heater
movie,
right, such as like Black Panther or 50 Shades Freed, you have to. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
you were making like the face of like, but I'm supporting you and going along.
No.
With this,
I was actually trying to think if you bought your ticket in advance for 50 Shades Freed, which I would not put that past you.
Thank you for not Stephen A. Smithing me and just making the fucking face as Max Kellerman went on. So not counting repeats or shit that we've seen
and
outside
also
of MoviePass.
Screenings.
Right, I didn't count those either. I've seen roughly 35 movies on MoviePass.
That's more than me. That
surprised me. I figured that you'd see like a lot.
I thought it would
more.
be closer
because you're fucking you have a fucking better schedule.
Yeah, I have a way better schedule. I'm at 23 confirmed.
Wow, plus 17 Paddington.
That's
showings.
True.
Right,
I did
counting repeats. I bet that you might have me beat.
Yeah, that's
I've only
true.
Seen a couple.
I did see A Quiet Place twice too. Paddington.
I saw Phantom
5
Thread
times.
1.5 times.
1.5. Yeah. So I have 23 that I for sure, and I think the most surprising part of this exercise was so like our biggest thing about MoviePass and like the biggest value it has to us is it
lets you take a chance.
Yeah, it lets you take a chance on a movie that's like probably bad. And like I have a lot of friends who ask me like, dude, why do you fucking see all of these terrible movies and like pay money for them? And I'm like, well, I don't pay money for them because it's MoviePass and I don't lose anything, so why not? And bad movies are better for content.
Yeah.
But the revealing part of this exercise was that I've paid for a lot of bad movies.
Right, that a lot of the bad movies we've seen for this podcast, we seemingly did before we had MoviePass.
Yeah.
Like we were gonna go through every movie we've seen on MoviePass and say, would we have actually paid to see this? And I realized while doing this, the answer
is
has to
yes.
be yes to every single one, because we paid for Fist Fight, we paid for the Emoji Movie, we fucking paid for My Big Fat White Bachelorette Party.
I cannot believe that we paid for the Emoji Movie. Like I was 1,000%
But that was a
sure.
purposeful thing. Like this
We need
is
to talk about
supposedly
it.
going to be really, really bad. Let's see it and see how bad it was.
But like if you had asked me before I did this research, like did I see the Emoji Movie on MoviePass? I would 1,000% said yes, because like I've tricked my brain into thinking that I'll only see bad movies. Yeah, and it's not true.
MoviePass ended up just being a more economical vehicle for us to continue what we were doing.
That's true. We saw the Emoji Movie with money out of pocket. We also saw the Belko Experiment out of pocket.
Oh yeah.
We saw you already mentioned it. Rough Night out of pocket.
What's that?
That's the White Bachelorette Party movie.
Could you say it's
my
full?
big fat White Bachelorette Party?
Thank you.
Yes. We also saw The House, which like wasn't bad, but
The House was a screening.
Oh, that's right. It was.
Yeah.
That's right. So we didn't pay out of pocket. So good for us.
Yeah. Here's the list that I compiled. I think we've seen most of these. There's overlap between us. So, Atomic Blonde, Detroit, The Hitman's Bodyguard, Logan Lucky.
Nope, The Hitman's Bodyguard was a screening.
For you.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
That's right. I didn't bring you.
Yeah, and I couldn't go.
Yeah.
And then you had a story that you were very excited to tell, and this was in like the less good old days of brunch, and you told it, and you were really excited to tell it, and I just didn't fucking have anything to offer after that, and I felt bad because I was like, fuck, man, Pete was excited about that story, and it ended up being like what a shit
story.
fucking yeah. So Logan Lucky. The Layover, which actually, as I see this now, this was when I didn't know how to use a movie pass.
So you paid for that?
So I ended up fucking paying for it. Oh my god, it's horrifying. It was a screening. Kingsman Golden Circle.
Bad.
Blade Runner 2049. It was good but long. It was just Gosling in a jacket. The Mountain Between Us. Oh, that was better than everyone else thought. Happy Death Day. Twice. Only the Brave. What a fucking movie.
Yeah.
Love Only the Brave. The Snowman.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, bad. We would have paid for that, though.
Yeah, we would have paid for that, but I will say that like having Movie Pass, it's worth its weight in gold just by the fact that we didn't have to pay out of pocket to see The Snowman.
Yes, exactly. Jigsaw, Bad Moms Christmas. Truly one of the worst movies that's ever been made.
Bad.
Lady Bird, Daddy's Home 2. Oh my god, fucking Linda. She thought that they were going to get in trouble. Murder on the Orient Express, Call Me By Your Name, The Shape of Water, The Disaster Artist, I, Tonya, The Post, worst. Phantom Thread, parentheses, once and a half. Once and a half. Paddington 2, once for me, maybe
5
a couple
times.
more for you. 50 Shades Freed. Black Panther was not on Movie Pass. Game Night, Death Wish, Red Sparrow, Love Simon, Ready Player One, Blockers, A Quiet Place, a couple times for you, Truth or Dare, and Rampage. So I calculated that I've saved at least $320 on tickets, but I guarantee we've made up for that with drinks and because I was never like fucking beer at the movies guy until Movie Pass.
Yeah,
I'm
still not because I usually go in the middle of the day. Like if I go at night,
prime beer time for me. Be depressed one time.
Yeah, but usually my plan is like I'll go watch a movie and then I'll go to the gym. And I'm not trying to drink before I go to the gym. So that's where I only have 2 movies that weren't named by you. So that's wild.
What were they?
Let me see. All the Money in the World was one of them, and American Made was the other.
What's American Made?
The one with Tom Cruise where he plays the pilot.
Oh.
Both pretty good movies.
Huh. Interesting. People very much liked the last episode, which was a sign that brunch is for sure back, because this past one, our just energy was fucking dead. Not because we like didn't have anything to say.
At like 2 in the morning.
So dead and tired and both hungover in a million different ways. And making everything an open ended up being like a fucking super enjoyable listen.
Yeah, I mean that's credit to you because I wasn't thrilled about the episode and I never would have done it in that way and it would have just been a mediocre episode. And a lot of people just enjoyed the weirdness of it being a cold open the entire way through.
Well, that's because in the beginning I made fun of you and you're like, "Fuck, that would have been a good open," but it's the beginning of the show,
cold open,
right?
Yeah. So I guess I do deserve credit.
No, yeah, you did.
That
came, like when you said that, I was like, I just put it in, and then there was another joke like 2 minutes later. So
you're welcome.
Yeah. So you know what? Yeah, you guys fucking owe us because even when we're bad, we're good now. Brunch is back, motherfucker. WarbyParker.com/brunch. That doesn't count as a read because we swore.